thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Ozkaya. The first question, of course, is how you think Qatar is shaping up with its national cybersecurity strategy plan to mitigate cyber risk.
The plans are always good to help us to follow a workflow. I mean, before we even go to the national security plan, I think every leader in cybersecurity space, or, before we even go to leader, security starts by a person itself. If you, as a person, are not secure, how are you going to secure your network? An example, driver, for example, the driver has to be fit to drive the car to ensure that he can or she can protect the people that are riding with the driver. Security applies to the same thing. We all, doesn't matter if you're a CISO or CEO or CTO or just a salesperson, a cleaner, you have to ensure that you understand how the internet works, how the threat actors works, and you should be able to protect yourself. Now, if you can do that in your organization, you should have your own cybersecurity plan. And that plan can be, of course, or should be, of course, aligned with the national cybersecurity plan, which will help us to go to the next mile. It is like we all know how to walk in a street. Doesn't matter how dangerous the road is. When it comes to this, we still, we trust that everybody knows the rule, but when you cross in the street, you still look at left then right to ensure that there is no car, even though there is a green light, because sometimes unattentious driver can hit and harm you. I think same applies to cybersecurity. I hope this answers the question.
What I was trying to understand is that cybersecurity rests with every individual, and that is how strong we get. But we've recently seen cases of ransomware attack where public infrastructure is attacked. And, at that point of time, security personnel, they may be homeland security personnel, but they have to answer, why is this not secure? Because this is public infrastructure, it impacts many people. And which is why I was trying to understand the overview of the country. Are they cognizant of the the risk that exists? Should the onus be, yes, the onus is on the citizen, the last one person in our country. They're responsible for the cybersecurity. But we are seeing these attacks happening in public infrastructure, and then tend to worry. We need an umbrella structure where we also come under that umbrella when it rains.
Correct. Let's focus on that example. So how does a ransomware attack happen? Of course, there is now different ransomware attacks, such as supply chain attack, where an individual cannot do much if he or she is not in cybersecurity. But most of the ransomware attack happens via email, via attachments, via links, where users are getting social engineered to click to. Attachment, there is a bill, pay, or attachment, FedEx deliveries here, click and pay. Attachment or SMS message, which looks like it's from someone, you click on it. So you as individual are initiating or allowing the hacker to come in. It's like someone is knocking the door and you just open it in. But of course, there is different supply chain attacks, like different ransomware attacks as well, such as supply chain attacks. With that, what happened in some organizations is they use trusted resources to attack organization. Again, how does a ransomware work? Well, first of all, what is a ransomware? Ransomware is, or it's a malware. What is a malware? A malware is a code which is allowed to execute in a computer. Why it's allowed? Because if it's not allowed, the CPU will not run it. So in computing terms, in one and zeros, malware is a legitimate code which runs in a computing environment. Okay, where is the issue? The issue is that we as IT professionals are not be able to verify what is good, what is bad. For example, I work in a cybersecurity firm called Komodo. At Komodo, what we do is we, by default, don't trust any application to run, and we virtualize it with what we call is containment technology. This is like, I am coming to your house. You don't know if I have COVID or not. I'm a good friend. I'm your brother. I'm your mother, father. But still, during COVID pandemic, if you remember, which we are still part of it, we had our masks, you know, it's always on me. We had our sanitizers. We had, you know, we tried to use the maximum precautions to protect ourselves. So what are you going to do? You have to ensure that I am vaccinated. If not, you have to put me in a bubble wrap. You know, let's say you cannot get me out. You have, what we do is we quarantine people maybe in a different room. I don't know if you had someone in the family had COVID, and if you have only one house, you're not going to kick them out of the house, right? You're going to quarantine that person in the room. And this is the issue with how ransomware attacks are not being contained, are not being fight. So I wish we had, I mean, everybody had the technology that, hey, this is a bad code, do not run. But ransomware, it's like human. So am I a good person or not? Can you tell this by just looking at me? No, you have to look at my intentions. Same applies to cybersecurity. I'm trying to do some analogy. So I know we have many C-levels, they are not in cybersecurity. So when it comes to digital transformation, it is really important. Look, zero trust. Okay, don't trust anybody, but your wife might be going to school as a teacher, or your husband or your child, get the sickness and come in. So where is zero trust? Are you not going to trust your loved one? Because we have to follow the basics. What is, for example, defense in depth? So ensure that person is vaccinated, ensure that person has the mask, ensure that person is minimally exposed to public. Honestly, same applies to cybersecurity. The public internet. Ensure that you filter known bads. Everything bad, filter out. Ensure that, okay, there is going to be unknown persons, unknown files. Are you good or bad? So we have to do business, and I'm asking for $1 million. All right, we are leaving business. This guy is asking for $1 million. Should I trust? Most probably not. It's like in the internet. You receive a pop-up saying free iPhone. Like, who will give you a free iPhone? You know what I mean? You have to be self-aware. And this comes back to my first example. In my first example, I said it starts with self-awareness.
All right, so let's create this self-awareness. You said if I want to protect myself from COVID, I'll keep a mask on, I'll sanitize my hands, I'll be careful. For enterprises, what should be on their checklist to keep their assets, their enterprises safe from cyber threats?
First of all, know your assets. If you don't know what you have, you cannot protect it. Secondly, ensure you apply the basics. Look, I love when, I traveled 5 continents. I have customers in 5 continents. I mean, right now, as you know, I'm in New York. Unfortunately, I was going to be in the hotel. It's like now 7:30 a.m. I quickly rush so I don't miss the session here. I'm visiting customers, and the main thing here is what we say is, look, follow the basic. I meet so many people that are, oh, I got the next generation firewall. I have the advanced protections. Forget about this advanced, the best. No. Or I meet some people, they say, we have like 50 security solutions. No, there is impossible to have security, full security. We have to have security as necessary. Example, I'm pretty sure you have some valuables in your house. Where do you keep them? Next to your exit door, or you try to hide it in a dark corner in the house?
Dark corner in the house.
So, same thing in cybersecurity. Put defense in strategy, separate your network. What is zero trust? Like, have a safe that you can lock, for example, your most critical data. I'm not saying put your free pen that usually get in a conference and you put it in a safe, but you put your most valuable assets in your safe. Cloud, digital transformation, it's important. We need it, but it does not mean you should put everything as is to the cloud. Again, let me give you another example, like why it's important to have digital transformation securely. Because pandemic taught us that, or showed us more importantly, that if you don't have the latest, if you are not adapted to digital world, you are out of the game. How? So people could not go to work. They had to work from home. If you didn't have the infrastructure, you could not work. If you cannot work, you cannot earn money. If you cannot earn money, you are out of business. First, you will lose your job, then the company will be out of business. And you will see that you are aware that only technology companies double their profits. Back to security. This is our job as leaders, to be aware of what is next. And conferences like this, thank you again for organizing it, is a great it's a great opportunity for people to learn from experts as your valuable speakers.
Right. Dr. Ozkaya, you spoke about zero trust. Now, sometimes when you bring in these systems, and because a lot of your employees are working remotely, they have problems in just working in the system. Okay. There's a firewall for everything. I have to call up to be able to access, this data which has been blocked, because somebody thought that I should not get access to it, but I can't work. So how do we secure, our enterprise network in a remote situation where we are using the cloud extensively? Will zero trust work? And how much importance would you give to training and retraining employees? IT security cannot be the responsibility of the IT team. It is the responsibility of every employee. But they have to work and they have to deliver on deadlines, and they forget. And they will then click on a mail, which is a phishing mail, and the entire enterprise will be, vulnerable. So if you could talk about zero trust and, the repeated training and reminders for everybody in the organization.
Here's another example, question with a question. Two great questions, by the way. Let's say you have only one house and you need to renovate it, paint it. What are you going to do? Are you going to move all your stuff? I mean, that's the ideal situation. Move everything out, paint it, renovate it, then come in fresh. But hey, you cannot afford that. What will you do? You will do room by room, right? You will take the stuff out. So zero trust in an enterprise. How possible is that? So if you say tomorrow I'm going to be zero trust, I'm going to say dream about it. If you have lots of legacy applications, I'm going to say dream about it. By the way, everybody has legacy applications, from Microsoft to Amazon, from Amazon to Apple. You cannot just switch and shut down everything today. What I'm trying to say is, if you just remember, I said defense and depth, separate. So instead of moving everything to zero trust, why not get your most valuable, most critical data or information or connections methods to zero trust? So if there is any less risky data, they can just be in your current network. But if you have top secret data that you are afraid to get exposed, you utilize the cloud for Microsoft Azure, for example, or use partners such as Komodo Cybersecurity, which gives you zero trust by default, for example, to help you move forward. And you ask another, I hope this answers the zero trust bit, right?
Yes, it does. Step
by step, start from a greenfield environment. Now, you mentioned a very important point. Security, technology. I mean, I'm a CISO in an organization, or I'm a board member in an Australian Institute of Cybersecurity and Technologies, okay? It's nice to have these big titles. Of course, I'm responsible to translate. I'm a translator, in other words. Qatar, you don't understand Arabic. Let's say you are from India and you speak Hindu. My job is to translate from Hindu to Arabic. Because you cannot speak Arabic, your customer cannot speak Hindu. It's my job to translate. That's the same applies to cybersecurity. As CISO, is my job. The CEO does not have to understand cybersecurity or technology. You have the technology leaders, which is going to translate the risk into business. And now, for that, the training bit comes in. Look, you see the books behind, you know, all my books that I wrote, you know, they are here as well. Oops, because of my background, you don't see it. So even I got PhD, but it doesn't mean, look, I bought another book, which I'm just reading to improve myself, because the landscape is changing so fast. We have to keep up. Even though I work in a cybersecurity company, believe it or not, I run myself regular trainings to the board members, sometimes even to the cleaners, because security has to be end-to-end. Training is a core component of that. When I say training, awareness. Now, I cannot train you and a 15-year-old child in the same matter. You have to be able to customize the training to make it more effective. It's like going to a shoe store. Do you buy just any shoe? First of all, you select your brand based on your budget. Then, once you're in the shoe store, you look at the model that you like. Then, you look at your shoe size. You don't just buy any size. And then, you still try it on, because that size might not fit into you. Cybersecurity has to be the same way. Fortune companies uses that beautiful software, so it's good to know. Cybersecurity has to be tailored. Ready packages which work for someone else will not always, it does not mean it will work for you. You have to test it out, having POC, and you have to learn how to utilize this technology together with your existing technology to move forward. And into that, training is the most important part.
Okay, lots of important points covered there, but you spoke about end-to-end. So let's talk about the endpoint security. What are the best solutions for minimizing threat surfaces with endpoint security, and how are enterprises leveraging this to secure their businesses end-to-end?
Endpoint security is a must. Okay, I'm not saying it is the only and ultimate solution. Remember I was talking in my first example about the technology, which is a containment. Basically, you come in, I don't trust, I don't know you. You might be my friend, I don't know if you have code or not. Same with the file. When it hits to my endpoint, what I do is I put it in a bubble wrap, or when you go to the airport, I scan it. There is 3 types. When we look at cybersecurity posture, there is 3 types of posture. 1, allow good, deny bad. You know, that's really easy to say, but impossible, because I don't know if you're a good person or not. I have to work with you. So good is good, let it in. But take everything as unknown, okay, for the unknown files, and implement ASR, which is the attack surface reduction. So you do the necessary checks. Look, in the airport, even if you're an airport employee, they by default they don't trust you, zero trust. They scan you, then you go in, then you start scanning others. Let's say you are the security guard, but when you first come in, they scan you, even yourself, so zero trust. Then it's your citizen. Maybe your mother is coming, but you have to still scan her, otherwise your boss is gonna get angry at you, right? I don't know if you know anybody in airport that works there as security guard. Even if you come, they will be a bit more gentle to you, but they have to do their job and scan you. What I'm trying to say is, endpoint security has to be like this. You have to don't trust any file. Of course, known files which have signatures, they're welcome. But what about supply chain attacks which comes from a known file? So everything which has a change should be scanned. And there are lots of technology around there. Microsoft has its own, you know, there are many big anti-malware companies, they are there. But the other thing is they have to fit into your organization. They have to be easy to manage. They have to detect. Look, I love Gartner as well. But I have some customers says, that company, for example, Commodore is not Gartner, but doesn't matter. Remember, it's like Nike is a good shoe brand. Everybody's buying Nike, go buy Nike. But Nike doesn't have the shoe type that I like. It doesn't mean Nike is bad, or I don't like Nike, but It does not work. Ferrari is a good car, yes, but I need to drive the car in a desert. Can I use Ferrari? No. In a desert? No, right? It will be like a Coca-Cola can, it will be smashed. You need a four-wheel drive, SUV. And same applies to cybersecurity, to endpoint. Of course, there is great partners, test them out, ensure the detection rate is high, ensure the compatibility is there, and ensure they help you sleep well.
Right. And Dr. Ozkaya, how do you assess the recent uptick in ransomware attacks? There is one school of thought that, some companies have been able to identify vulnerabilities in the networks of large companies, but the large companies do not take their presentation seriously because they were like, they're just pushing their products to us. So, we'll test it ourselves, and then the testing did not give the adequate results, and then they were, targets for ransomware attack. They were locked out of their own systems, had to pay up to be able to, even operate their own systems. So, should you have a proactive approach to cybersecurity or a reactive approach? Okay, I got attacked. Now what do I do? Or does it have to be a mix of both? Because you have to plan what is going to be your plan B if something happens. What should be the mix when it comes to cybersecurity?
All right, another question to you. You're walking in a street. During the day, many people around, you have your bag. Will you be extra cautious with your bag, or you will, of course, be cautious with your bag, but you will still walk normal? Correct me if I'm wrong?
No,
okay, so
it'll be a normal day.
Yeah, 11 p.m., it's empty, and it's a bit scary, the street lights are broken, and you see the two guys, they look like shifty. How will you work?
I will be more alert. I will be more alert.
Right. So that's how the internet is. Look, name me a company which was not hacked. I repeat the question, name me a company which was not hacked.
Not hacked.
Not hacked. Maybe there are some companies, they don't know they've been hacked yet. So assume that you can get attacked anytime. Even if it's during the day, you try to, you don't walk like with your bag with your hands like this. You try to still, you ensure that your bag is with you. Even though you pay less attention, but you still pay attention. Correct me if I'm wrong. Same thing is in cybersecurity. Honestly, it's not different. Assume that you can get hacked anytime. So protect, detect, and respond. Always you have to be proactive. So if you know I'm going to hit you right now, what will you do? Of course, I would never hit a woman or a human being. You will try to protect yourself. So if you're on that street, you will be proactive. Like, is anybody going to hack me? And if you know that you are in danger, what you will do is you will maybe hire a security guard. And that security guard is your endpoint protection, it's your firewall, it's your security services. And so in my opinion, cybersecurity has to be a bit of both. And another important thing is you have to assume you will get hacked. And as soon as you're hacked, what are you going to do? Are you going to pay the ransom or not? Do you have the backups or not? Example, Garmin, watch company. It was on the news, public news. They were on, just this year, 2021. They had the big ransomware attack. Could be 2020, time is flying fast. They were demanded for $10 million. They negotiated for $4 million and they paid it out. Another ransomware attack happened this year to EA Games. Again, public news. They were asked for ransom. They decided not to pay. But you know what happened? They filtered 750 gigabytes of private information, all the game sources, and they leaked it in the internet. 750 gigabyte data. So what proactivity are you going to do? Isn't it too late? So someone is coming and stealing every day big bunches of data from yours, and you did not even notice. You know what I mean? That's why you should have police. It's like, I'm not sick, I will not go to doctor. But do, especially after some age, do checks. As a man, you might get prostate, as a female, maybe breast cancer, there is different sicknesses which comes with the age. That's why it's always been recommended to do regular checkups after a certain of age. Let's say in an enterprise environment, you have to assume you are on an age that you're going to get attacked anytime, and you have to have a business continuity plan, an incident response strategy as well, which should be aligned in the first strategy, which I said in your first question. If you know how to secure yourself, you will plan to how to secure your people around you, then the network, and so on. I hope this answers the question. I try to use some analogy to make it a bit easier for the C-levels. They are not in technology, and I try to use some terminology as usual for my colleagues who do similar jobs.
Right, Dr. Ozkaya. Lastly, for Qatar's cyber leaders, what should be the strategic outlook for ransomware protection?
As you know, I come to Qatar often. I work with lots of organizations in Qatar. Honestly, compared to 10 years ago, Qatar is in a much better state, and the leaders are aware. I mean, I think even a 5-year-old child is aware these days that there is something called cyber threats. I'm proud to say that, and I worked with the government, with central bank. I was managing a CISO, a bank in Qatar, or at Microsoft. I went to lots of organizations. They already started to do their best. And honestly, if you look at the threat, if you look at the threat reports, Qatar is not in top list anymore, even though as economy they are. So, but it doesn't. It's like, just imagine when COVID started, you were extremely cautious, but now you don't care anymore. But hey, if you're not vaccinated, you can still get sick. But my only suggestion is going to be continue to good work. There is, unfortunately, this is a job which will never going to end. Probably it will end the day that internet dies. Then probably you will not have any cyber dangers, but you're going to have physical dangers. Continue to be aware, continue to support your teams, train them. There is a beautiful analogy again. What if we train our team and they leave, right? So let's say I spend lots of money on you, I trained you and you leave. That's bad for the company. But what if I don't train you, you stay? Which one is more dangerous?
The second one is dangerous if you do not spend on training.
So please do so. Continue to do so. Please test what you're buying. Don't just go after the big boys. Yes, I love this endpoint client, but it's not in Gartner. Don't forget, a Gartner strategist is not doing the strategy for free. Someone has to pay them so they can analyze it and put them in the report. What if someone doesn't want to pay? So I'm not saying just, it's important. I love it, don't get me wrong, but don't just rely on it. It's like when you want to buy a car, you research in the internet, but you still do a test drive. When you want to buy a dress, you still try it on. Same in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is it's not alien. It's not coming from the moon. It's part of our life. Risk management is part of our life. We use these fancy terms to make it look like, oh my God, cybersecurity, I don't know what to do. No. We are all part of technology. My mom, she's 80-something years old. I never told this, all right? If she listens to that, she will kill me. She's still 50 as I'm 45. All right, but she cannot read and write, but she has a smartphone. She knows to click F, go to Facebook. She knows how to answer WhatsApp calls and talk to me. So even my mom is using technology. What I'm trying to say, we are now in an embedded world, IoTs, for example. So my only advice to the leaders is, doesn't matter what your role is, cybersecurity is your job, and you have to actively be part of it. You might hire a CISO, CIO, CTO, but please ensure you track this you track this into the business matters, and you follow this metrics up. That will be my biggest and important recommendation. And have coffee, it helps to keep awake.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ozkaya, for joining us at an early hour to share with us your views, your wisdom on cybersecurity. And I'm sure this has been very helpful, eye-opening for everybody listening in, because you have to test, you have to train, and you have to get the solutions. You cannot keep your head in the sand thinking that you will not be attacked. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us your knowledge.
Thank you very much again for the invitation. Sorry for the rush, but honestly, there was no internet in the hotel. I quickly rushed to the office, New York traffic, but I made it. I'm glad. And thank you for the invitation. As usual, it's a pleasure to be part of your events, and I'm looking forward to be part of the next event. And to all my friends in Qatar, be safe, healthy, and ensure that your devices are healthy as well. Thank you very much. Keep in touch.
Thank you, Dr. Ozkaya, for joining us. Thank you.
Bye-bye.